well, I guess we'll get started. I'm Kim Sloan.
I'm Judy Dorshimer.
I'm gonna start, and then Judy's gonna. So twice a year we do a presentation here, and try to come up with something that we think might be of interest to you guys. So we started with Fired Up. So key components to healthy aging. So when I first started working on the acronym for Fired Up, the fired part was easy. Friends, for social support, injury prevention, relationships including professional colleagues, exercise, and diet and nutrition. But the acronym for UP was a bit more complicated. At first I thought it stood for you and your primary care physician, but later as I read the Surgeon General's advisory on the epidemic of loneliness and isolation, I thought maybe the acronym should be you and your pinnacle partner. Because both so impact our quality of life as we age. So the not-so-secrets of successful aging. There's been a lot of research showing how our social connections, our friends, family, and caregivers affect our physical and mental health, especially as we age. This research is very compelling because the results show that even after controlling for pre-existing physical and mental health conditions, individuals with meaningful relationships in their lives have higher mental and physical functioning than individuals who are socially and emotionally isolated. Having meaningful relationships in our lives keeps us mentally sharp, lowers our blood pressure, and keeps us active longer. A study by the MacArthur Foundation found that having a high frequency of emotional support, defined by how often subjects spoke to or saw family and friends, was a powerful predictor of which older adults ended up improving physical function over time. So having friends and family in your life increases the likelihood that you will get out more, keep moving, and actually improve with age and slow down the related decline.
Looks like you're all agreeing with it.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. As one caregiver described, so we work for a Human Touch, which is a non-medical home care provider. So I was speaking with a caregiver, and she described her relationship with one of her clients to me, and she said, I show her love, I show her patience and kindness. Mrs. G used to sit and cry when I first began. Now we go grocery shopping and to the dollar store. She holds my hand. We're friends now, and she doesn't cry anymore. If you want to increase the meaningful connections in your life, there are many choices available. The trick is to find something that makes you happy. You might volunteer at a local school or an art center, take a class, join a silver sneakers class at the gym, swimming, get involved in politics, which is always interesting nowadays, join a book club, invite a friend for tea, or join Facebook. Online social circles have been called the modern front porch. Just take a few baby steps and see what happens. Dr. Vivek Murthy, the U.S. Surgeon General, has published our epidemic of loneliness and isolation, and we encourage all of you to read it. It's available in your local library and online.
Excuse me, what's the title of the book?
It's the U.S. Surgeon General has published our epidemic of loneliness and isolation. So if you just Googled Surgeon General's report on loneliness, it would come up. It's comprehensive. I mean, it's I don't know, maybe 80 pages.
Yes. I would think it's probably what you want to read.
It is absolutely worth the read.
Depressed read.
Well, it's.
No, it's not too depressing because it talks about how you can overcome that or not get involved in that because you need to have relationships.
Yeah, and and it's across the board. It's amazing to see the loneliness that affects young people more so even than older people that are totally reliant on online stuff. So they don't go to, they come home from school and they sit on their phone instead of going to play a sport or join the theater group or the glee club or whatever. So it's a very interesting. Older people are better off than you would think because that's how they've been. But with the pandemic, it did, bring to a head, I think, older people that were alone and afraid to go out. So this advisory is very comprehensive in its scope, accessible to, the layperson can read it without being inundated with data and facts. It's profound. I really think it is worth a read. And the report is defined as the term advisory. A Surgeon General's advisory is a public statement that calls the American people's attention to an urgent public health emergency. Advisories are reserved for significant public health challenges that require the nation's immediate awareness and action. One of the suggestions that he makes in the report is to volunteer. And this is a quote from the report. There is, for instance, a virtuous cycle between social connection and volunteerism or service. Those who are more connected to their communities are more likely to engage in services, and those who are engaged in services are more likely to feel connected to their communities and the individuals in it. Interestingly, there's also evidence showing that the well-being benefits associated with volunteering, are even greater for those with higher social connectedness than those with less. Because these cycles can be reinforcing, prioritizing social connections can not only disrupt the vicious cycles, but also reinforce the virtuous ones. You'd be amazed at how many organizations would love to have your time and knowledge. Dr. Murthy encourages people to join a local organization such as Center on the Hill. There are so many opportunities right here in this building that will counteract the effects of loneliness and isolation. Just signing up for this presentation shows your awareness of this issue. I have a personal story with how volunteering helped with a colleague of mine, Betty. After 37 years as an assistant manager of the labor relations at the IRS, Betty retired. She had lunch occasionally with some of her former coworkers, but they had busy lives and grandchildren. She was getting antsy sitting at home and was looking for something meaningful to fill her time. Soon after her retirement, her sister asked her to go to a local shelter because she wanted to adopt a cat. As soon as they arrived at the shelter, two things happened. They were surrounded by cats who needed homes, and they met the director, who was so kind and welcoming that they immediately liked her. She talked to Betty, explaining that the shelter is entirely run by volunteers. By the time Betty's sister chose a mellow Maine Coon cat that had literally been rescued from an alley in North Philly, the director asked Betty if she would like to volunteer. You can come in any time. Every little bit makes a difference to the cats. She was invited to come into the kitten room whenever she wanted. No commitment to a schedule, just whatever worked for Betty. The flexibility was very appealing to her. She fed them, washed their faces, cleaned their cage. She played with them so they would be socialized and ready when they were for their new adoptive families. The kittens began to work their magic on her. It makes me happy when the kittens are adopted, she said. But the kindness and dedication of the other volunteers made her want to be part of this fledgling nonprofit. Gradually, she spent more and more time at the Cat's Bridge, as it was called. Soon, she was in charge of the adoption follow-up. She called adopters to make sure the cats got their boosters and that they had adjusted to their new homes. Now she uses all her considerable record-keeping management and organizational skills, working with more than 50 volunteers, such as cat lovers with just a few hours to give, to Girl Scout troops that come in once a month, and people with special needs that enjoy being with the cats. Betty says she's fulfilling a lifelong dream of caring for animals. She's now vice president of the Cat's Bridge to Rescue. She's part of a core group of 6 volunteers who pool their talents to keep the rescue running. They stay in touch. The group has monthly meetings, taking turns, going to one another's houses. They share ideas, eat, and tell stories. They update on one another's particular area of responsibility at the shelter. This group of volunteers, now Betty's friends, are a vital part of Betty's social connection. Volunteering has so many benefits, it's almost impossible to count them all. In the Surgeon General's report, in Chapter 1, he defines the term social connection as a continuum of the size and diversity of one's relationship and their positive or negative qualities. Social connection is a fundamental human need as essential to survival as food, water, and shelter, which is pretty amazing. Social connection is this fundamental human need as essential as food, water, and shelter. We learned in the first chapter that every level of increase in social connection corresponds with a risk reduction across many health conditions. It defines the 3 vital components of social connection: structure, function, and quality. In the structure, it's the number of relationships, the variety of relationships, the frequencies of interactions with others, as an example, size of household, partnership, marital status, friends, family. Where you live. Do you live alone? Do you live in an apartment building? Do you interact with people in the elevator? Do you see people at the front door, etc.? function being a support in a crisis. So if it was something, was a crisis, whether it was a health crisis, a financial crisis, whatever the crisis would be, do you have somebody to lean on? Do you have somebody that can be there to talk to you for your various needs? And then quality, the degree to which relationships are positive, helpful, or satisfying, not disruptive or unpleasant. These are the three vital components of social connection, and that each are important to our health. The report explains that social connectedness is not static, but changes over time. Much about the report is sobering. An interesting stat that I found while reading Dr. Murthy's report was in 1960, single-person households accounted for 13% of all U.S. households. In 2022, that number has increased to 29%. Which is, I mean, I live alone. I don't know how many of you guys live alone. But 13 to 29% in roughly 50 plus years. That's a huge jump. So extensive scientific findings from a variety of disciplines, including epidemiology, neuroscience, medicine, psychology, sociology, converge on the same conclusion. Social connection is a significant predictor of longevity and better physical, cognitive, and mental health, while social isolation and loneliness are significant predictors of premature death and poor health. So yes, it is worth a read. It's not something you're going to take to bed and read it, but if you read a few pages here and there, we printed it out off the internet. Just put it in a binder, but I would recommend it to be read. It will motivate you to get out and do this type of thing. It's the exact same thing. And Judy's going to go on to our injury prevention, which is our second part of our talk.
The first part, I want to review this. I don't know if you will pick this up or not. I currently hadn't, so I'm gonna go get it. Okay, it's about fall prevention, and it talks about
It's amazing how many older adults fall yearly.
and how devastating a fall can be.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, excuse me.
So make yourself fall proof. Exercise, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Review medications with your physician and limit alcohol consumption. Check your vision, check your hearing, and dress for safety, which means low-heeled shoes with rubber soles. Nobody has high-heeled shoes?
I can't wear them. I wear high heels. Oh, yeah, that's all in the Make sure you wear your Make.
Enjoy safe at outings. That's again, companionship. Street smarts. You know how it is to walk around the pavement in Chestnut Hill or across Germantown Avenue. And you all know how difficult it can be. The sidewalks are cracked and the cobblestones on the avenue aren't great. Good timing. Plan to avoid crowded sidewalks at a rush hour and lunchtime. Walk in well-lit areas and schedule events for daytime. Deliveries have packages delivered to your home. And then, of course, useful tools are a walker, a cane, low-heeled shoes, and sunglasses to avoid glare. Then make your home fall-proof. There's a little bit about that. And remember that you can talk over all of these suggestions with your family and physician to find out if they have additional ideas for safety. You can prevent falls.
Many falls.
Yep. And fall prevention is a key component to healthy aging. Andre Krug, CEO of Klein Life, was quoted in Philadelphia Inquirer by saying, if a person falls, they can go from being completely independent to completely dependent in 15 seconds. The next one is the client newsletter on exercise. And this is a letter,
Yeah, I don't think you need to go through that. 'cause
yeah, I don't either. This is a letter we sent out to all of our clients and talks about exercise and healthy aging. Again, to read more on this topic, talk to your doctor. And then the last handout is from CDC. And this talks about, again, falls, how to avoid them, medications linked to falls, and then things that perhaps you could do to make your home safer. And some of these things, obviously, you need to have somebody to do them for you. And so this is all about fall prevention. And again, you can review this with your physician if you must, especially the part about medications. Injury prevention includes safety in the home. Distraction is a major safety issue and a particular danger area for seniors, distraction, especially in the kitchen. I see you're all nodding your head and you know how easy that is. We read while researching this topic that just one distraction is a recipe for disaster. Most home fires start in the kitchen. Here is the area where you cannot afford to become distracted. If you are cooking for your own safety, it is recommended that you remain in the kitchen and supervise while you have a burner turned on or using the broiler. So, all these simple things that, right.
Which the owner of our company, part of this was because she put something on the stove and then sat down to wait for it to be, and fell asleep. And it totally scared her out of her mind. Like, and thankfully it was fine, but it had to, you know what I did? I put, every Sunday I make hard-boiled eggs for the week. And I put my hard-boiled eggs on, and then I forgot. And I decided I was going to go to Trader Joe's.
Oh, no.
I drove to Trader Joe's, but first I stopped in Sephora before and picked up my perfume, and then I went into Trader Joe's, and when I got to the egg section, I said, oh my goodness, I never turned the eggs off. I flew down 309, and luckily my pot was super, super heavy, and the water was still in there, but it had been like probably close to an hour.
They were hard-boiled.
They were hard-boiled. They were certainly hard-boiled, but again, a distraction. Guess what?
Yeah.
Now I set a timer every time
Yeah.
I make my eggs.
Like when I make cookies, it's only like 10 minutes, but I set the timer,
Mhm.
and I go in the living room and sit down and
Right.
read. So I'm running back and forth
Yeah.
every time the timer goes off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, now I turn a timer on.
I think I need to get a timer.
Yeah.
Well, there's one on the stove
there
and there's
one on
one
the
on the
stove?
microwave.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it is,
So,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I set
Use
those.
it.
Yeah.
The clue was using it.
I stayed in the kitchen because I had that egg
Oh.
experience too.
It scares you, and it
Yeah.
sticks
Yeah.
with you for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And especially, and also when you use the broiler,
Yeah.
stay in the
Yeah.
kitchen when
Yeah,
you're using the
because that can
broiler.
really
Yeah.
take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you would like to use a checklist before I leave my house checklist. That says keys, phone, glasses, stove burners turned off, doors and windows closed and locked. And it's recommended that everyone has a home fire escape plan. Make sure you have a working smoke alarm and working CO2 alarms.
Yeah.
They now have smoke alarms with batteries that last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, these are a little more expensive, but no worries about failed
Changing it all the
batteries, you
time.
know, for 10 years.
And no beep, 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 and you can't get to the ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't quite reach
Right.
it.
Right, right. And it's also advised that all kitchens have a working fire extinguisher. And make sure that it's not expired and you can get it easily. You know, if you have it all the way in the back underneath and you have to
Yeah.
take everything out to get it, that's you may as well not have it. They now have a flame retardant blanket that you can
Oh,
get.
yeah.
You have one.
I got one. I
you?
saw it on television. I said, oh, that's interesting. I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Where did you get it?
I think I saw it on HSN. What are those shopping network things
Okay.
they had?
And you can get them on Amazon, I looked it
Yeah.
up, they're
Yeah.
available. But they make sense, they're literally just throw
Just throw it over there. You ain't got to worry
flame.
about no water or anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good. Make adaptations to your home which add design elements of universal access. It's not wasting money. It is adding to the value of your home and is an investment. You will benefit immediately from making good safety and access adaptations, and your heirs will benefit in the long run. Indoors. Again, you can check with your doctor, you can check with a physical therapist, occupational therapist about adaptations to your home. The stairs should have railings on both sides
Yeah.
and good lighting.
You know who comes and do that for you?
Who?
If your income is not too high, fill it up for court for aging.
Mm.
You sign up, they send somebody that came and put new smoke alarms in, put a
Exactly.
bell on my house, and they put that arm railing on the second, on the side.
Did they
so I can
really?
hook up to it. Yeah,
That's
right.
good to know.
That's great.
You said Philadelphia Corporation for Aging?
Yeah,
Okay.
What if you don't live in Philadelphia?
well, I don't know
There's
what
a
they do.
Montgomery-
That's
there's a
something you have to
Montgomery
contact
County
your
for aging.
local, the one that deals with the senior citizens. Almost every community got something.
Yeah, there's a Montgomery County Aging.
Yeah. So Philadelphia Corporation for Aging or Montgomery County, whatever county you live in.
You have to talk to a social worker and get that stuff lined up.
In your bathrooms, the tub or the shower should be accessible.
Right, they cater for those.
And this is my favorite, note the height of the toilets. An old lower toilet is harder for older people
Oh,
to
yeah.
get
But they're
in.
making them all so small now, all the way down.
That's what
You
I'm
want some of the
saying.
modern hotels, those things, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like children, they're for children.
Before I had my last hip replacement, I replaced my toilet and it's considered chair height. It's not handicapped
Right.
But it's higher
Exactly.
than the
Oh.
original, and I still put a seat on it,
Oh.
on top of it.
No, that
But
was very
chair
smart.
They're called, it's called, I got it at Lowe's, I think, called chair height.
Ah,
Right.
interesting.
And they're
So
about
it's not
to,
as high as.
not as high as handicapped,
Oh,
Yeah, because
but
they,
it's a lot higher than regular.
Right.
right, because if it is as high as handicap, you have to have a special handicap person install it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling my daughter she needs to get higher toilet, and
Yeah.
she talked in her bed, and he said, oh, no. So I said,
They're
Chair
about to
height.
replace
Chair
the
height.
toilets in
Chair
my
height
church.
is what
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're very low, but there is a bar, you can pull yourself up, but they're very low and they need to be replaced anyway, so that's
Right.
in the budget.
good. And grab bars, non-slip floors, and handheld showers. Handheld showers are the greatest thing.
Yeah. Right, good.
Outdoors, you have railings or a ramp installed by the steps, or at least one stair-free entrance. Exterior walkways should be non-slip and well-lit. And home security. It's important to have a home security system installed. And there are different ways to get those, different kinds of home security things. You know, the lights over the front door and
The motion sensor.
the
one.
motion sensor.
Yeah.
Again, talk with your family and decide which safety measures you can customize for your particular home situation. Now we're going on to exercise. Simply put, exercise makes us feel good. It can help ease anxiety and depression symptoms, increase relaxation, and create an overall sense of well-being. A 2019 study of adult men aged 65 and older found that the mood-boosting benefits of exercise continue well into old age, underscoring why it's so vital to stay active. Another study found that participants over the age of 60 showed fewer Alzheimer's disease biomarkers when they perform 30 minutes of exercise every day. The most important exercise for seniors is simply walking. It promotes a healthy lifestyle, strengthens muscles, lowers the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and colon cancer. If you find a buddy to walk with you, you will be getting the benefit of social connections and the benefit of exercise. Find a flat path, a walkway through a park, the perimeter of a familiar building, or the interior of a shopping mall. And remember, if you walk in the mall, weather is never an issue. It's never too hot, it's never too cold, it's never
Sit down and
too
rest.
wet.
Yeah.
And while they're still open, shopping malls are.
Yeah.
Again, check with your doctor before beginning a new exercise routine. Pilates and Tai Chi is always encouraged in the senior population as it improves balance, coordination, flexibility, and posture. I'm going to talk about some of the types of exercises recommended for older adults. Perhaps one or a combination might be beneficial for you. Ideally, exercise routines for older adults should incorporate a blend of aerobic exercise, strength, resistance training, stretching, flexibility exercises. Trendy fitness programs and high-intensity regimes aren't a practical or safe choice for older adults. Okay? Some great workout options that can help you improve your mobility, build strength, and enhance your balance and coordination. Yoga. Yoga is a low-impact activity that won't strain your joints. Do any of you do yoga now?
I do occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough, but I do. Yeah.
You like
It
it?
is. I love it. Yes.
At the same time, it helps you build up your muscles, stabilize your core, improve your flexibility, and strengthen your bones. Look for an introductory yoga class in your area, probably here.
They have a chair yoga
That's
class
it,
here,
yeah.
a lot of others have.
Almost
Chair
all the
yoga.
She's done the chair yoga, right?
I've
Or-
done chair ballet.
Chair ballet.
Wow,
Chair ballet is really cool.
I would love that.
Chair yoga.
Yeah, and chair yoga is too. Pilates, that offers an effective workout while being gentle on joints and focuses on building a strong core in order to improve balance and stability. It has been shown to reduce the symptoms of arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. Again, many of the exercises are performed in sitting or reclining positions. Pilates is a smart option to try if you haven't exercised in a long time. Aerobic exercise. Adding endurance activity to your day can help boost cardiovascular function, strengthen lungs and airways, and improve everyday stamina. What counts as aerobic? Walking, swimming, and using the stationary bike are all good choices for older adults. 30 minutes a day is what's recommended. This could include 3 short 10-minute around the clock. Strength training. We're not talking about bench pressing 100 pounds. Absolutely not. There are simple, low-impact body weight training exercises you can do at home to help reverse muscle loss and burn body fat. These include wall push-ups, stair climbing, squats, single leg stands. Some strength training routines also incorporate light hand weights, 1 to 2 pounds. 1 to 2 pounds, no more. Aim for 2 to 3 workouts weekly to reap the most benefit. Make it a group thing. Community exercise programs for older adults. Sometimes exercise is more enjoyable with a friend. If you lack a fitness partner, a community-based program can provide the social connection and motivation you need to stick with it.
Right here.
Here we are again.
Right.
Exercise in a group setting also provides an added layer of safety for older adults who require more supervision during activity. If you haven't already done so, consider joining Silver Sneakers. It's a health and fitness program for adults 65 or older. Covered by many Medicare plans, it helps people stay mobile and active by providing access to gyms and fitness classes designed for older adults. Silver Sneakers also offers workout videos, social forums, and other online resources to help seniors exercise. Again, check with your local senior center or Department of Aging to learn about exercise programs and classes offered where you live. This information is for informational purpose only. No material in this presentation is intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen. You all nod your heads, and I'm assuming you're all exercising and
I do walk and I do go up steps, but I don't do, sometimes I do a stretch, or I just do weight, or something like that.
You know, I saw the other day an older woman, a video, and she had 1 pound wrist weights
Yes, I
on
know.
while she was folding laundry.
And they have,
Oh,
they have for the legs
That's a
too,
good
the
idea,
ankles.
like, you know, it's 1 pound, but she was folding her sheets and folding her towels and, I thought,
that's right.
yeah.
And you know, the wall push-ups, and you go and stand there for a little bit and do 5 or 10 push-ups, push yourself away from the
I
wall.
can't do those. I have herniated disc,
Oh,
can't do
yeah,
those.
Okay.
I got bad knees, can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So that's why I do a little
Back.
walking, a little weightlifting here and there.
Well, the good thing is you know what you can do
Right.
and what's
'Cause
safe
I
for
ain't trying to
you.
mess up nothing else that's already messed up.
And when we talk about the relationships, obviously you all come here and participate, and that's great.
How often do you do you guys come to the Center on the Hill? Well, I recognize you, I've seen you before here. But do you come here often to take advantage of, there's so many different types
When
of,
it starts, I take the class forever and ever on how to use your cell phone. It's like the 5th time I'll be taking it. And I come to the luncheons, and I've got some
Okay.
ladies that I sit with every time. And the talks like this, I was here the other day for another talk.
nice, I think it's a great.
But yeah, I really think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to interact and also learn some new things.
They have other centers. There's one down on Germantown Avenue.
Well, in Vernon
Yeah.
Park,
Yeah, Vernon Park, and there's one in Westfield. They have other centers, and most of them
Oh,
do the
absolutely.
same type of thing,
Yeah.
gathering, bingo, this, that, and the other. So they're out there. So I just started trying to get back out because I still don't like a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
of
sure.
all the problems, so, but I started going out.
I come here to, with Barbara Levitt, but because I've had some knee problems, I take it online sometimes, but I've also gone to physical therapy for, because of my knees, arthritis.
Right.
I come here for luncheons
How often do they do the luncheon?
Every month.
Oh, nice, okay.
every
It's-
month. I've only been here twice
Mm-hmm.
for luncheons.
I
Where-
came here for their Christmas.
is
They
that?
It's
do
like
a
$12.
Christmas
You get a hot lunch up in the
I
church
come,
hall with
there's
silverware
one
and
Nice.
china and
and real China,
real china and linen tablecloths and
Nice.
sometimes entertainment.
that's nice.
But it's catered by Halligan's in Flowertown.
Oh,
It's
nice.
very good.
You know, AARP does some of these type of situations where they have lectures and they do like caretaker meetups, different things like that.
Right.
Like
They
support
do.
groups type
Yeah,
of?
you have to register for the
Yeah.
AARP if you belong to them. They do a lot of it. If you belong to any university, I used to work in university, so I go down to Temple every now and then when I see a lecture or something I want to learn about. There's so many things.
You know what,
I
there's a
have
good
couple
lecture
friends-
series that the Philadelphia Free Library does too.
Right, they do. They do a lot.
Yeah.
I used to go to theirs. But a lot of people said, there's something to do when you retire. I said, there's plenty to do. You just have to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
involved.
That's right.
But you have to make the effort
Right.
to seek it out, because it doesn't fall in your lap, right?
No.
I mean,
No, it doesn't.
Center in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
belong
talking
to
about.
that.
Yeah.
And PPSREA, that's the teachers organization. They have activities.
for retired teachers,
Yes.
nice.
Where is that?
PPSREA. They have activities, and now they're having a luncheon on Delaware Avenue. It's the 19th of October.
And where is that? Just at a,
Delaware Avenue.
At a
Luncheon
restaurant?
with activities. Not really activities, but with like a ceremony, a speech, and recognizing people at certain age,
oh, nice.
or volunteers.
Religious organizations is another place, churches,
Churches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Sometimes.
social events, banquets, dinners,
right.
the others.
So you go in town, you go into Old City?
My church is in Old City,
Nice.
yeah.
Did you used to live in
No.
Downtown? No.
No, I live in Flowertown.
No.
But I'm on a lot of committees now, but we do a lot by Zoom, because none of us want to drive at night
Right,
downtown.
Right, right.
Or they're right after church or by Zoom.
Hmm.
You know who else does a lot of free activities? Kennel Center.
Do they?
The big thing on the first floor, they
Yeah.
do a lot of free stuff.
Who?
Although Kennel Center, the one that do the Philadelphia Orchestra,
Oh, the Kim and Judy.
ballet, but
Yeah.
some of the stuff be for free. You don't have to pay for all of it. They have certain local talents that come in and do stuff on their main floor.
Stagecrafters, plays.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Woodmere has movies,
Oh, do they?
$5 or less donation.
Where's that?
The
Woodmere.
Woodmere Art
Oh,
Gallery.
Woodmere,
And they-
Yeah, Woodmere's been doing
And
that for
they
years.
print a list in the Chestnut Hill Local, like what they're doing, the movies.
And how often do they do that?
Well, they're on Tuesdays.
They do movies here too.
Yeah, they do movies here too.
I think
Golf
Woodmere does the
theater,
golf, or a jazz night too.
Yeah, they do, and they do wine tasting.
I just went to their jazz.
Oh, did you?
how was it?
Wonderful.
I keep thinking I would like to
It
go.
was a Saturday. And he gave us a list of lots of things.
Of things to do?
The jazz,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
the
yeah.
musical, they have music
Oh.
at Woodmere.
But you know who
They
else
have
has
art
that?
exhibits too.
Your local colleges, Temple does that, they have jazz, they have theater and jazz. University of Penn does it, almost all your colleges do it.
I don't
Some of
wanna
it
go
you
to
pay
Temple.
$5, $10, some of it's
But
free.
you gotta get down there.
Yeah, well, I take the CCT.
Oh,
I ride on that. I stop because I have this now. I used to get on the bus with a walk when I had
Yeah.
cane. I'm not getting on the bus with this because people are ignorant. And I don't have patience. I'm old. And
I
I'm
just
not gonna stand
heard
for
that
crazy
SEPTA
stuff.
has ordered all of these buses now that are geared more towards families with strollers.
oh.
But they're gonna have seats that are gonna flip up. So
They
you
have
can-
them already on
Oh,
Chestnut
yeah.
Street. They've had them for years. They had them
Well,
before the
they're getting
pandemic.
more, I
And
heard.
they're going to get more, yeah, because they have it so that, like this, you can back up in that seat and
Oh,
the
that's
seat will go,
good.
it's up and it pull down. You sit down, when you get up, it goes back up. Plus on the bus on the top, they announce the stops.
Right.
I've heard
That's
the buses
yeah.
do that.
That's the ones downtown.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I have a friend who uses a rollator. She lives in Center City,
Right.
and she sometimes has trouble with the buses.
Right, and supposedly
Yeah.
now they're gonna, or.
And
order
most of their
more.
buses, sector buses go down. Those drivers, they be acting stupid. That's another
Yeah.
thing. They don't want to push a button so the thing will go down.
She
Nor do they want
encountered
to
that
close
once,
to
and
the
the guy was
curb.
the
so
guy
you
was
can
not
get on
near the
bus.
curb, and he wouldn't lower the thing to let
Yes.
her on.
That's what they do. And
That's
they don't
right.
like to pull up to the curb either. They'll pull way out here
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's
You got
what
to
she
try to
said.
get out. That's why I just
Public
say CCT. I
transportation
can't be
since I was in
bothered
college.
with all the ignorancy and the lazy
As long as I
and all
can still
that.
drive.
Yeah. I watched a documentary on a woman young woman in a wheelchair in New York City, and how difficult it is to navigate public transportation in the largest city in our country. You know, there are blocks and blocks and blocks between subway stations that have access with an elevator.
Yeah.
So you go 8 blocks out of your way
Right, to
to
get
go.
one that you can.
Yeah, it was such a maddening documentary to see what this woman tolerated on a daily basis when you need extra help.
And I can imagine trying to get across the street in Philadelphia, but in New York, it must be crazy with the amount of people trying to cross the street.
That's why my daughter.
Thank you for your information.
Oh,
Thank you
you
for coming.
Okay.
Appreciate
Here we
it.
go.
Yeah, the scams are ridiculous.
It's
Yes.
ridiculous.
And they're
they
getting more and more
really-
sophisticated.
And they're really, really geared towards seniors, and it's.
Yeah.
Oh, AARP, they have 4 different classes throughout Philadelphia on that very subject.
Oh,
You
Really?
have to register for it.
Yeah.
You have to belong to
Register
AARP.
for it.
They're doing it, plus I'm doing that bulletin board, somebody
Yeah,
else is doing
they're
it
doing
too.
one here.
Medicare.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah,
a
Medicare.
Medicare
So
scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
I get them now from my bank. They claim that they have the logo and everything.